Howdy y'all, and welcome back to I Am Able Because I Am is Able. So I wanted to address something about one of my last videos that I posted, and maybe address some confusion that may have been surrounding it. Now I've already done a video kind of about this in miniature before, although it may not have been a miniature video, but I wanted to elaborate specifically when it comes to this one aspect of my recovery. So here we go. So I played the guitar and sang. And I know that I have said in previous videos that I either can't play guitar or that I haven't been able to play guitar since my fall. And I wanted to clarify this. So in the past, I did a video, I hope I posted it, I think I did, about two different forms of can't. So I will discuss that again and then elaborate on how this affects guitar playing, specifically for me. So here we go. Can't. There are two different kinds of can'ts in my recovery. Specifically mine. I'm sure other people in recovery have this similar situation, but I'll speak about mine. Two different forms of can'ts, or cannot do. And those are, for me, either one, physically cannot do it. What that looks like is, when I first fell, I physically could not open a really heavy door. I physically could not twist a doorknob all the way to open it. So I would not close doors all the way without somebody else nearby or without a cell phone around, because I was always afraid of getting locked into bathrooms because I physically could not open that door myself. So that's the first kind of can't. There's just no way of it happening. Second kind of can't in my recovery, and that is I can physically do it in the moment, but I'm going to be paying for it later, or feeling it later. So what does that look like? Okay, so first of all, why this happens. With my fall, what happened was I didn't actually permanently injure any bones or muscles. I did break a bone right about here, I don't know, in the collarbone area, but it's not a permanent problem. I didn't permanently injure any muscles. What I did, however, do is get a hernia in the disc. I herniated a disc in my neck. So what that looks like is those little cushy things that are supposed to support your bones when they go like this against each other, like when you walk, instead of just, you know, being nice and being cushy, it kind of spurts out. And most herniations go side to side, and they just kind of hit muscle or more bone. My herniation goes inward, right into the spinal, like nerve column. Fun, right? Yeah, not so much. So there are some things that I do in daily activity, and I have no idea what, like, one day I'll just wake up with a problem and I have no idea what caused it, and it's like, oh yeah, you just like turned your neck one too many times today. It's like peachy. And I might not even ever know what caused that problem the next day or the next week, because a muscle just possibly rubbed against the nerve too much, or maybe I walked too many times and it made that herniation hit nerves too many times. It causes vision problems, it causes vertigo-like symptoms, it's caused burning or heat in my left ear area. I don't know why. Just does. Isn't that fun? Sometimes it'll feel like a really bad rope burn on my arm, and I don't want anything to touch it, sadly, including my pets. That, thankfully, has gotten way better since I had my shots last year. But I still have moments. And the new one, yes, I'm still having surprises now and then. The new symptom I've been having is feeling like somebody smashed my finger with a hammer. Yeah, that's no fun. So, how does this relate to the guitar? Well, with recovery, with physical therapy especially, we like to try to set goals of things that you used to be able to do with your normal life that you want to get back to doing again. And some of these are pretty obvious, like walk again, be able to wear clothes again. And some of these are less obvious, like dance again or play my guitar again, maybe more lofty. The overarching goal for me is manage my pain again, but in the medium ground I have dance again and play guitar again. So what does that look like? Why am I not able to get there after 2.5 years? Here you go. My physical therapist and I have been trying to work this out for probably at least this last year. Not so much the first year because things were really bad, but this last year, year and a half, about every few months, I'll try to pick up my guitar. Now, you might be wondering, if it hurts you that bad, why are you even trying? This is the way to get to recovery. You have to take baby steps before you can, like, run the marathon. So, when I have a good day, and I know it's especially good and I don't have things going on afterwards, or in this case when I'm extremely frustrated through grief, I will pick up my guitar and I will try to play. And the first few times I did this, it was just to kind of see symptomatically what was going on. I didn't play every single day. I was very careful about how many times I played. I don't know what you call it, but my goal at that time, I guess, for lack of a better terminology, was to get on my guitar, tune it, and play through 2 songs. That either meant 1 song twice or 2 songs 1 time. So just to be clear, that's how I was trying to start. Not every single day. I'd give myself a few days break, try it again, blah blah. And things seemed really good. First 2 times that I tried playing, 2 or 3 times ago. In fact, it was like 2 different times that I tried doing this. The first couple of days were great. By the 3rd time I tried playing, I didn't feel very great afterwards. And a few days after the last time I tried playing, both of the last couple of times, I hit a wall physically and I was feeling it. I don't remember the symptoms I had those times, but I was having symptomatic issues for a few weeks after those 3 days of trying to play guitar. That doesn't mean I've given up entirely, but it does mean I'm frustrated. So, where are we now? Well, this week I've been trying so hard to cope with the grief of the loss of my dear friend, and the way I used to often cope with grief was to sing through it, especially since this is something that my friend and I used to love to do together. And so it's been really, really a source of frustration, pain, anger that I couldn't do this. And so I did finally break down and whip out my guitar and try to play. And here's a couple of things I have realized just in this last couple of days. Apologize for the wind, and ouch, that hurt. When you sing and play guitar, which I do, and you've done it for years like I did, your second nature stuff starts to kick in. So if you look back on that video, I'll try to have the link in here, you can see that as the song continues, I start to kind of get into it, and I'm kind of bobbing up and down. My neck kind of does a little, you know, getting into the song kind of thing. My neck hurts too much to really do that right now. And I'm also looking down at the guitar a lot. I'm not doing this because I don't know how to play. I'm doing this just because it's second nature and it just feels right in the moment until it starts hurting. And then I'm feeling it and it's like, man, I'm not even halfway through this song and I really want to get through this because so many reasons I want to get through this. So there's a lot that happens to the body, especially to the neck area, when trying to play on the guitar and trying to sing, especially when I try to combine the two, which I do. I think I just heard my dog try to get into something fun. Before I go though, I wanted to address one other thing about why I want to get back into playing guitar. And that's addressing a question that I've had a lot since my fall. and that is, what is something from the fall that has been difficult for you spiritually? Has it been hard for you emotionally and spiritually since the fall? And yes, but not necessarily in the ways that some people may think. The two most difficult things for me since my fall is reading the Bible. It's hard for me to process words when I don't see them or see something visually moving in front of me. And it's also hard for me to process too much stuff visually moving in front of me. Whee! So, reading the Bible has been incredibly difficult since my fall. But the biggest thing to me that has made me feel more distant in my relationship with God has been worship. Musical worship, I will clarify, because yes, I acknowledge there are many different forms of worship, but my life has been very much since like the day I was born almost music. Like, it's been a big part of my life. Big part of almost every recovery from everything has been music. And when I fell, I broke my collarbone, injured some muscular area temporarily, and all the nerve stuff that happened. Even singing felt like someone was hammering my neck and head every time I tried to sing a line because of the vibration through my neck and up into my head. I couldn't drum for similar reasons. I usually drum on my legs. If you've ever been to church with me, that's like, well, duh, of course you do, Katie. I used to play the cajon. If you don't know what that is, it's a box drum that you sit on. But I wasn't able to do that. I was stripped from that. I would say outright drumming on my legs and singing took over a year to get back. At all. Like, straight up, a whole song. It took me about a year to get back to that. Being able to even do this, to drum a little bit to the music, took several months, because that would send vibrations up my neck. So I really felt separated from music. Yeah, that has been one of my most difficult things. And now, as I'm further along in my recovery, the shots have helped a lot with certain things. I am now able to drum on my legs and sing along to anywhere from 2 to all of the songs of worship during church time. However, if I'm having a bad day, that's likely to be closer to maybe 1. Sometimes on a really bad day, I can't even do any of it. Still. And unfortunately, I'm not very used to the songs that our church tends to sing, and it's not a criticism at all, that's just a point about what I'm talking about. So it's difficult when I have to read lyrics, because I have to put my neck in a very specific spot and hold it there and sing and either, make some kind of rhythm or sign language or whatever. That's a new one I've been able to do again, which I used to do long ago. But it's made it very difficult for me to feel connected in worship, pretty much in 2.5 years. There have been moments. I will not forsake saying that there have been moments where I've definitely felt the presence of musical worship in my life since my fall. And I'm extremely grateful for those. And if you're watching this, if I've been part of one of those moments with you, you'll probably have already heard about it from me, because it feels very rare. And again, please note, this is not a criticism of my church's worship whatsoever. It is about my physical abilities, and not a criticism of that either, but rather just an observation of answering people's questions right now. What's difficult and what's not. So, all that to say, music has been really difficult for me to get back into. And do I grieve it? Yes. Some days I'm downright angry. I'll admit, have lots of emotion about not being able to do my music anymore. And different days it'll be a different kind of emotion. Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's grief, because it feels like I've lost a big part of myself. And sometimes it's motivation in a weird way, like I am going to get better. It doesn't always work to actually make me get better, but at least it motivates me to get up out of bed, right? So yeah, it runs a lot of different situations. So since I like to always close my videos with questions back at you guys, here it is. Has there ever been a time in your life where you have felt separated from a part of yourself that always made you feel connected with God? Maybe that was not being able to pray as much as you used to, or read your Bible like you used to, or maybe your communion with God was to be able to go out into the wilderness and like hike and like just be with God, or maybe it was time in the car listening to radio and radio has changed and it's just not your thing. If so, is there anything in your life that you have been able to, or any way in your life that you've been able to kind of turn that around and still dive closer to God? I had another question too, but my video camera lost that, and I don't remember what it was. So there you go. That's my question for you today. If you can think of anything else to comment in love about from the video, I'd love to hear it down below, comment section, either on Facebook or on YouTube, because y'all know that I'm going to post it on both. Ciao for now. Love y'all. Thank you for coming along with me on this journey. God bless.